Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles podcast. I am Chats. I am here with Donald, and we will be breaking down last night's victory against the Texas Rangers. Severino, 7 innings, no hits. Stanton, monstrous home run. Looks real. He loves October. We will be analyzing and breaking down everything right here on Pitch Strike Chronicles. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for watching on Northeast Streaming Sports and listening on SportsWire Radio. And it was an expected win, and I think it goes without saying. I want to lead off as with Severino, and the start that he had yesterday just shows that he is just ready for October. He looked healthy. He looked very efficient with his pitches. The pitch count kind of stunk because when you have a no-hit bid, you always have to be on the edge of your seat. Are they going to let him keep going? When are they going to pull the plug? And you almost want them to say, it's so hard to go to pitch the way that he was. Do you gamble and let him keep going? Or did Boone actually make the right move last night by saying it's too risky to let you pitch?
It was absolutely the right move. You don't pitch a guy in a meaningless game. I don't care if it's a no-hitter. You need him for October. There's no reason to keep pushing him.
Yeah. Donald, now I agree. I think it was the right move. Donald, what did you think?
Oh, well, I'm old school, so it's very, very hard to see history being made and then him being pulled for his own good. Was it the smartest move? Yeah, probably. It was probably the smarter move, but damn, the baseball fan in me, that's hard. So let's look at the different viewpoints. First of all, we let Corey Kluber go and complete his no-hitter last year, and I think that it directly led to him getting hurt. I think he was pretty much hurt right after that because you remember his very next start. He didn't last very long, and then that was him done for a few months. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is how often do you have the chance of making history? And you saw how upset Severino was. Severino looked like he was ready to fight Aaron Boone when he was trying to take him out. That's a competitor in Severino. Sometimes you have to take him out for his own good. I can see both viewpoints. I guess it's a meaningless game, but it'd be meaningful for Severino. I personally consider it was only 94. I would have seen where he was at 100 if he had maybe a quick couple outs in the eighth. You could have taken it from there, taken it from a batter by batter basis. But I can see both viewpoints. But man, it's very hard to watch history being made and then him being taken out. But also, my biggest issue with Aaron Boone was putting in Castro. If you're going to take somebody out with a no-hitter, you need to complete the no-hitter, even if it's one of those combined no-hitters. You need somebody that's going to do the job for Severino. Not put in Castro, who is an absolute abomination of a reliever. And I don't even think that was an Aaron Boone decision. I believe that was from Mike Fishman up above. Fishman's like, right, you need to give Castro some time, so you have to put him in after Severino. I think that was a decision made prior to the game, one of those pitching crap. That's my biggest issue. If you're going to have a combined no-hitter, I saw a combined no-hitter live. So just earlier this year, the Astros game, It can be done. So I think putting Castro in was the problem. Elliott's got a good point here. I would have left him in to pitch the eighth, even though the game has no impact on the playoffs. I don't refer to it as a meaningless game. I wouldn't give him the chance. I agree. I don't think it was meaningless either because it was meaningful to Severino. So, yeah, I would have taken it on a batter-by-batter basis in the eighth inning as well, Elliott.
Yeah. What was interesting is on the radio broadcast last night with John Sterling was Jeff Nelson. And Jeff Nelson made the point of referring to the first attempt of the perfect game by David Cone. Right after he had the issue with the brain. And it was, they were very upset that they were taking Cone out. And
do you mean the arm aneurysm? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And he recalled Torrey explaining to him that
what brain issue did David Cone have?
Huh?
What brain issue did David Cone have?
Didn't he have the aneurysm?
Oh, it was an arm aneurysm.
Okay. So it was, there were bigger things there were still bigger things at play aside from just this one game. We can't afford to have you go, have an issue where we don't have you later on in the year. So when Jeff Nelson, explained that and reminded us of that, I'm like, okay, now, it did soften the blow of him getting pulled out of last night's game.
There was still, again, I consider this a meaningless game, meaningful for Severino, sure, but you at least saw the guy dominated a halfway decent lineup. It gives you encouragement going into October that he's going to be fine because we know what a healthy Severino can do. We've been saying it all season. If he's healthy, he's our second best pitcher on paper behind Garrett Cole, but right now he might be our second best behind Nestor Cortez. So seeing what he did yesterday, and it's only like his second or third start back from the IL, that's fine with me. Would I have liked to see the no-hitter? Sure, but would it have meant anything for us? And really, would it really have meant something? Hey, he threw a no-hitter in the last series of the season against Texas. What happens if one slight tweak, because he's been so injury-prone when he throws more pitches? We've seen it before. He has one little tweak, and he's gone for a couple of months. I don't want to see that. I'm not saying it would have happened, but in a situation like this, you can't risk it. I don't blame Boone, and I don't blame Severino for being upset, though.
Yeah, his next start will have been as Linux, almost 2 weeks off. Exactly. I still think it was only 94 pitches. I think he could have taken it on a batter-by-batter basis, especially considering how upset Severino was. If Severino was kind of understanding, I think it would have been easier. But to see him basically need manhandled away from Aaron Boone told you how desperate he wanted to complete that.
No, that was as close to a Mike Messina moment as we were going to get this year.
Yeah,
he did not want to come out of that game, and I think that he does. They're professional competitors. They don't want to be able. They don't want to have their night end. They just want to keep going and doing what they were doing. I think going to Castro was a mistake, but I think they already knew that it was going to be Severino, Castro, and then fill in the blank. Depending on where they were in the what inning it was. They wanted to get Castro back in that game into a game as fast as possible coming back because they need to see who they have available and who's pitching well for the bullpen. Because
but you don't upset a no-hitter doing that, man. I mean, you have to. The thing about a manager, you also have to realize the gravity of the situation. When you've got a no-hitter, you need to make sure that you put in the best relievers possible to relieve Severino in order to make it easier for Severino to pallet. If he's gonna be taken out, he wants to know at least that you're gonna put in someone who's a high leverage reliever that can complete the history for him, so that he can at least take some pride in the fact that he was part of a no hitter. But putting in Castro, who's got real issues, even prior to him being injured, I think you could have put Castro in the day if you needed to in a properly meaningless game. I just don't think. I think. Obviously, the Yankees are only planning ahead for the playoffs, but it is also up to our manager to realize the gravity of the situation, and I think he missed the boat there. I had more of an issue with Castro than taking Severino out after 7. I could see the point with Severino because you need him healthy for the playoffs, but god damn, you need to put in some better reliever, man, to make sure that the history was made.
Yeah, no, it's what. All right, to move on. Stanton. he looks really primed for. He loves when that calendar flips over to October. It's almost like he becomes a totally different ball player. It's just he has a different focus about him. Do you guys see the same thing I look at?
You said it yesterday. He just seems to flip a switch. But even last year, it was September through October. He was red hot. It's just that he was coming back from the injury this year, so it's just he needed time to get that swing back. And once he did, he's been killing the ball. So I was never concerned about Stanton. I just knew once he started to swing a halfway decent bat, the home runs were going to come, and that's all we need him to do right now until next year when we need him for a full season. But right now, we just need him in October. Just hit it over the wall.
No, it's like you said yesterday. His at bats were starting to look a lot more complete. The results may not have been there, but the at bats are competitive. He's not flailing. He's not trying to swing at everything just to get that hit off off a pitcher. So when you get Stanton in this situation, it's almost a sigh of relief that, okay, at least we know that there's somebody besides Judge that could provide some pop.
Yeah, well, we needed to be Stanton and we needed to be Rizzo. Those have been the guys all year. And without Carpenter, it's been those three guys. And then Glaber has been a lot better lately with the power. But we haven't really had – if it wasn't for Judge, the home run total would still be high, but it wouldn't be as high as where it is. We're still very reliant on the home run ball, but it's only really 3 or 4 guys that are doing that. So – It needs to stay that way. Those are your home run guys. Get the big hits from them, and hopefully the rest of the lineup, guys like Cabrera and IKF, I guess, Trevino, can get you those big doubles and gappers, whatever it may be.
Donald, your take?
If you want the Yankees to be successful in the playoffs, you need Stanton hot. We have no chance without Stanton hot. He is he lengthens the lineup. He is Judge's protection. It was absolutely imperative that he got his swing together in time for the playoffs. Thankfully, it looks like he has. That home run that he hit, 457 feet, that was an absolute monster shot, man. That was the Stanton, that was vintage Stanton right there with that shot. So it certainly gives you confidence that he's coming around. He is one of the streakiest hitters I've ever seen because when he's hot, I would argue that he's the best hitter in baseball when he's hot. But when he's cold, you could argue that he's the worst. And there's very little in between with Stanton. But he would admit himself that he's had a terrible year. Yeah, he's got 30 home runs already. Yeah. And he was injured for basically the second half of the entire year. And he's still got 30 home runs. So even in a bad year that he's given you 30 home runs, 77 RBIs while missing the second half of the season shows the quality of hitter he is. I'll ride with Stanton all day long, man. I think he represents the pinstripes really well. I think he's managed the media incredibly well. And he's got no ego on him. For someone who hit 59 home runs himself, the fact that he was just so cool with everything that's happened this year, and that's why the Yankee fans have bought into him. I love Stanton, and I'm really glad that he's starting to come around. The thing about his swing is when he's off, obviously his very open swing leaves him to really struggle to get around on pitches on the outside of the far corner of the plate. He kind of struggles to reach them. He certainly struggles with sliders low and outside. But when he's seeing the ball well, he can certainly judge the trajectory of the ball better, and then and his swing usually tightens up. So it's all about him getting hot, and he's gotten hot now. Thank Fook, because if we want to win this year, if we want to go face the Astros, I assume in the ALCS, we need Stanton. So I'm really glad that he is coming around.
No. So, Spencer, I'm very confident in Stanton. Even if he strikes out 3 times in a game, if he hits a home run, the Yankees will likely win.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Garbage Time Home Run does have a lot of time, well-timed home runs. He knows when it's time to choke up on the bat and just put together a good swing on it. So Stanton's one of those guys that we've been defending him since pretty much the day he came onto the team. Saying, a lot of people want to throw a lot of the shade at him because of his contract and all that BS. You're pretty much almost paying the same amount for Don. He's got a little more in his contract than Donaldson per year. And he's not one of the highest paid power hitters, but he's up there. They keep wanting to just make it seem like he's the biggest problem on the Yankees. And it's that narrative is so freaking annoying because we've seen what he's done in the playoffs. He's been able to get healthy for the playoffs. So I just don't understand the percentage of fans that just think that he is going to be the biggest problem and they're not going to sign Judge because they're paying Stanton. I'm so tired of it.
He's been amazing in the past few playoffs, Stanton. He has been. So there's any argument that he's some sort of issues is just wild as far as I'm concerned. It's just about health. And when to be honest, I think he's been great for majority of his Yankee career. Even when he's struggling, he's still so important to this lineup. I'll take him over 90% of the players in baseball, especially in October. Dude's a different animal in October because he's got this kind of coolness about him. He doesn't let things bother him. The fact he was able just to let the incessant booing, the incessant heckling from Yankee fans, he let that just slide, and then he still does his thing. Can't say enough about Big G. Absolutely love Big G. Yeah. So does Eddie Bloss. I love Stanton, strongest guy in the team. We have to have him. We do, man. Amen to that. Big G standing here to go and get my Big G jersey from my closet.
Yeah, right. Rob, your take.
I've already expressed plenty of times on here how much I defend Giancarlo Stanton. Anyone who's at this point criticizing him for anything just needs to stop watching the team because there's far more issues than Giancarlo Stanton.
That's why every time he hits a home run, you'll usually tweet out Mr. Garbage Time. That's the impression everybody has of him. When the games don't matter, that's when he plays well. Well, they're wrong.
Well, it's usually if the George were here crowd that says that about him. Yet I said it plenty of times. That's a George Steinbrenner trade 10 times out of 10.
Oh yeah.
So I can't stand those fans. I really do hate them.
I think when we first brought that up, we had like a 10-15-minute rant.
I hate those fans. My bad.
The narrative is so worn out. It really is. And we've seen. I mean, it was even proven last year. The more he plays on the field, the better his at bats are. So it was one of those. He can't play the outfield. Well, he had to in the National League when he won the MVP. I know that's it's a few years removed now, but he's still a very reliable outfielder. It's all about making sure he stays loose.
Well,
further to my point, sorry to interrupt, but further to my point regarding Judge, so Judge is on 61. There has been no ego with him. The fact that he had 59 at one point, he's quite happy just to quite openly say that the man on this team is Aaron Judge. It takes a big dude to say that, especially someone with his resume, his career, and the fact that he's a legit home run machine himself. The fact that he's like, yeah, Judge is the man on this team. Like that takes. I don't think enough has been said about that. He deserves a lot more credit for the way that he's handled everything. There's not even an ounce of jealousy in this thing. Even when he, hit the walk-off grand slam, he was talking more about Aaron Judge getting the 60. That shows the mark of the teammate that he is and the player that he is.
No, you're right. He's a great player. He's a great teammate, and the fans that still hate on him, I guess they just need something to complain about.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. It's complaining to complain. That's a good way to put it. It's just it's exhausting. Yeah, and I can't wait for October. I really wanted to just put the final nail.
We're in October, so
everybody up. Huh?
we're in October, so
Yep. So, go. Yeah, we got MH. Oh, sing a song. The Yankees are on a roll. Absolutely.
MH loves to sing. We were all singing on the Big Blue in the Bronx podcast there, Big Boys in the Big Apple last night. Me and MH had a little sing song.
Yep. And also Eddie Bloss again. He hit a 99-mile-an-hour pitch, almost 460 feet. How can you get rid of that? I have a problem with Donaldson's inconsistent batting. I will play Cabrera for him more often. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is with Donaldson. Do you sacrifice the at bat for the defense? It's going to be interesting to see how they construct the everybody's positions for the postseason. But the other position that really needs to be established for the postseason is the closer role. How did you think that Effross looked last night in the closer role? You looked comfortable.
I think it's got to be closer by committee at this point because we don't know if Holmes is going to be 100% ready for it. Same with Marinaccio. Trevino's been our best reliever over the past couple of months since we got him, and then it's Loaizaga. Effross, had he not gotten hurt, probably would have been right there, but he's still been very good. So those three guys, if you get Wandy back, you can put him there. It's really going to be matchup based because I don't trust Clay Holmes even if he is healthy.
That's no way you were a bodyguard at one point. No one messes with you. No.
MH is spot on, man. When me and Tats went to the Astros game, man, he was my bodyguard. He was like,
I was just.
Ain't no one messing with the Pinstripe Chronicles. He was my heavy. He really was.
I was even on the trains. I had to,
I know.
I let you sit down. I served.
He's also patient as well, man, because he queued forever just before first pitch while I was getting my Stanton jersey at the store, and it was freaking heaving. There's thousands of people there, and Tats was not to be moved. You don't mess with this guy. So yeah, my buddy here is definitely no one messes with him.
All right, hey, Eddie, Chapman makes me more nervous than any reliever. Absolutely, I couldn't agree with that more. Rob and I kind of ripped into him yesterday. Donald, your turn. Your favorite Yankee?
Oh, he's just such an abomination. He's a joke. He's diabolical. He's everything wrong with the way that Brian Cashman allocated the resources of this payroll that he put. What was it, $40 million on Britton and Chapman this year? Tell me where that makes sense. And then you say that, oh yeah, we're good with IKF as our shortstop, and we're going to pass on Correa and all that stuff because we don't have the money. But I'm allocating $40 million to one dude who can't pitch anymore because he's hurt, and one person that can't pitch anymore, full stop, in Chapman. So I don't want to hear the excuse that we didn't have money for free agency or we could only afford to give Aaron Judge a fair contract offer. No, well, if you're paying $40 million to two completely broken relievers, I think you could pay the money required to get a Carlos Correa and Aaron Judge. But that's completely different. Truth is, we should never have re-signed Chapman to his most recent contract. That was a huge mistake. When his contract was up 3 years ago, I was like, oh, thank God. Good, move on. But no, we had to bring him back. And ever since then, it has been so hard just to navigate him without him imploding. You have to find ways in which for him not to implode your entire season. He melted down last year, and they were still, he had to go back to go and work on his arm down in the minors, bring him back up, hopefully find some way of getting something out of him in October. And then this year, he didn't even turn up at all. He's been an absolute mess, complete mess. And then he ended up getting some sort of freaking injury from a tattoo, for crying out loud. This guy's a joke, complete disgrace. I want him so off this team. And it was a huge mistake from Brian Cashman, but he'll never admit to it.
No, Cashman will never admit a mistake. That goes without saying. MH Stanton is my favorite Yankee because he ain't in the NL East.
Oh, I know, because he was a Marlin. He was beasting as a Marlin.
He was everybody's worst nightmare on the Marlins.
Mm-hmm.
He really was.
So to go back to your original premise in regards to the closer role, I think Effross probably deserves the first shout. I was really happy with him. It was really important that he had a very comfortable ninth inning yesterday, and he did. So that's a good sign. The truth is, our bullpen is completely up in the air. There's no one with any defined roles, and that really worries me. If you want something that really concerns me going into the playoffs is the fact that not anybody in this bullpen has any defined roles. It's very much kind of like by committee, let's see who's hot, let's see who's healthy. And that really worries me because the successful teams by this point should know who their lane is to get to the ninth inning. But we don't even know who's going to pitch the ninth inning or the eighth inning for that matter, or the seventh inning. So we've got the arms, we've got the talent, but poor performance plus injury plus not having a closer has really made things difficult for the Yankees planning anything for October. It really worries me, man, because it really makes us appreciate the days when we had Andrew Miller, or the days when we had David Robertson, who was very reliable. And then, of course, we're not even talking about the greatest closer of all time, Mariano Rivera. We were pretty much set. We never had to worry going into October about our 8th and 9th innings. But now, good luck.
Yeah. No, good morning, bro. I'll be looking forward to listening to you guys later on today. And what I want to see from Effross is one of these two games. If a save situation comes about, I want them to use Effross in another save. I want to see how he does back to back.
I agree.
I think that could be very telling of where he's at for a postseason spot. What role can he fit? And if he can get saves on back to back nights, I think it gives a little reassurance to Bone, along with us as fans watching at home. I think that will give us just a little more confidence that we at least we have somebody that can do it.
And they need a closer for the playoffs, obviously. They just got to figure it out. It can't be Clay Holmes. It can't be Aroldis Chapman. It's got to be one of those four guys I mentioned earlier: Loaizaga, Trevino, hopefully Marinaccio if he's healthy, Effross. It's got to be one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would trial out. What they need to do prior to October is trial out your ideal 7th, 8th, 9th situation. So, yeah, why don't we trial out? I guess Marinaccio's out of the question because he would be my 7th inning guy. But without him, I tried Trevino 7. In the 8th, go Loaizaga. 9th, try Effross as a closer. I think Effross has got the stuff. I think Loaizaga does too, but I think Effross has that vicious slider, which could really work well in a closer spot. Loaizaga has probably been our most consistent reliever post All-Star break. So I think he's probably our setup guy. He can also give you a little bit of length too. He can probably give you 2 innings. As I say, the talent is there. It's not a question of talent. It's a question of performance and health. But I just don't think we have a closer, man. I don't think there's anybody that we've mentioned is closer material, in my opinion.
It goes to Eddie's comment. Yeah, they've given Chapman too many chances. We are definitely going into the postseason without a closer, but they have the talent out there to put it together right.
Yeah,
they do.
Eddie echoed my sentiments.
Yeah,
salute Eddie.
Effross stuff was filthy last night.
Yep, I think his slider carries off.
What I like about Effross is his delivery. It looks like he's throwing like extremely high heat, and he doesn't have the same velocity as some of your high leverage guys. He's not going to hit the 100 mark, but his delivery and his release. He looks like he's going to just keep whizzing it right past you.
Well, yeah. Further to your point, that adds like 6-7 miles an hour to your fastball.
Yeah,
his delivery and it almost is like a Jeff Nelson. He's kind of got like a Jeff Nelson slider delivery, and I'm sure Jeff Nelson appreciates watching Effross because he's got a very similar slider where it plays faster than it is. I think Effross was filthy last night. I think Effross should be our closer in the series.
Yep. So, but we will see. We will be saying goodbye right now to Northeast Streaming Sports. Hope everybody does have a good day. So we have, with the whole situation with the 7th and 8th inning, that's where you have the ability to kind of mix and match as far as who you use on. You use Loizaga, you use Castro. The key part of who when they come back is going to be Wandy Peralta. I think that's one of the missing pieces that we need to have back.
Hey, Backstage Baseball. I don't see any of the current active bullpen pitchers or closers emerging. It really is a bullpen by committee, 100%. Backstage Yankee Morning Brew. Hey, man, good stuff. We remember in some cases the closer doesn't get the final 3 outs, but the final 3 most challenging outs. Yeah. I completely agree with all the sentiments there, Elliot. We don't really have a closer. It really worries me. I really don't think Holmes is, even if he's okay going into the DS, I don't think he's a closer. I think he's been broken for a long time.
I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna organize it, but it is going like we've been saying. It's going to be by committee. It really is. It's going whose stuff look good, who's ready to go, who hasn't thrown a lot of pitches, what's everybody's innings. Some of that you have to calculate, but that can't be your only calculation when it comes to the postseason, because there's no next series. You might not have another series to figure it out, and so the pressure's on.
Rob, how would you allocate this bullpen?
Just go Effross in the 9th, Trevino 8th, Loizaga 8th. I don't really care who pitches the 7th and 8th out of those two. It's got to be based off of the matchup. We know Effross actually does a really good job getting lefties and righties out, so maybe they save him for an inning where there's lefty-righty, but you can't really have a de facto closer at this point. It's got to be by committee because, like I said, and like we've all been saying, Holmes can't be trusted right now, even if he's healthy. You just pray Marinaccio is good to go, and you ride with those 4. And if Wandy's healthy for the playoffs, then you got 5 reliable arms you can turn to in a big spot. You just really hope that your starters can give you 5 or 6, and then you should be able to navigate the next, 3 or 4 innings to get those final outs and hopefully get a W.
Here's where this year is going to be different from previous years. Previous years were like, I really hope our starters can give us 5 innings. That was the biggest question, our starters. This year, our starters are not an issue. I'm pretty confident our starters are going to give us 6 quality innings. It's what about the final 3 innings? And that's been our issue post All-Star break. Because our starting pitching has been fine. You go right through it. Everyone we've put out there, whether it's Domingo Herman, even Jordan Montgomery prior to him being traded, Clark Schmidt and the few starts that he made, our starting pitching has been absolutely fine at the low end. Tyon's had a very solid year. Garrett Cole's actually been one of our weaker starters, yet he's had still solid enough year in terms of statistics, and he's obviously got that record in terms of strikeouts, the Ron Guidry record. So you certainly not had a bad year. And then obviously Nasty Nestor's our ace. So I'm confident. Now and then you've got Severino just pitched a no-hitter over 7 innings. I'm confident in our starters. It's our bullpen, man. I'm very worried about our bullpen. At any point, it can implode. But at any point, they can all be shut down as well. It's just one of those things, man. It's going to be hard to predict.
What's up,
It's going to take an Aaron Boone managing very, very well to get us through, to navigate us through the ALCS. It's going to be about his Midas touch. Does he have the Midas touch? I think that his weakest aspect of his management is his bullpen management. I don't think that's his strength, but it needs to be strong in the playoffs.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, Ango. Yeah.
Navigating the bullpen in the postseason it's a totally different animal. You really it's what Bo needs to do is have it where it's done by merit. You need that if there was ever a time where you need to have meritocracy, it's in the postseason, especially with this bullpen. If you're going to have a by committee situation, you can't just rely on one person going, all right, this is our eighth, this is the ninth inning guy. If we need to get it out in the sixth inning, this is who we're going to go. You can't do that. You have to, if they've shown that they have the ability to get outs in big spots in the ninth inning against the heart of an order, then that's who you bring in. It's Boone could do this very easily if he puts down the book.
Oh, not easily. I don't think easily is the right word. Boone has to be on his game. That's going to be key to winning. Yeah, he does. He can't screw it with the lineup. Again, I've not seen his Midas touch yet. I think that he offers a lot in terms of represent the organization well. I think the players like him. I think the players like playing for him. I think he's had a very strong year in general in terms of navigating. He's very good in terms of navigating you through a season. But when it comes to short series, he often gets outmanaged by more experienced managers or managers that have a better handle on the tight games and how to get you over the top. He seems to struggle with that. I've not seen that yet in a playoff series. So this is a big test for Aaron Boone too. I've personally given him a lot of credit. I think he deserves a lot of credit for this year because this was not an easy year to manage. He's had a lot of injuries. He doesn't have a closer. The bullpen's been a shambles, and he's done well with that. And he's navigated this through with having an influx of infielders, and he's done very, very well with that. But when it comes to tight games, he still struggles. So this is his big test. I really hope that he pulls through.
Yep.
So Angel, they should have never taken out Severino. Let him pitch until they break the no-hitter. Severino was tuning up for the playoffs. We talked about this earlier. We'll give it a quick recap for you. But Donald would have gone pitcher by pitcher, batter by batter at that point.
Yep, I would have.
I was fine either way if they would have done it, but I understand that it was his third start back from the IL. You can't afford for him to exhaust himself where there's no other series for him to get ready for. You don't have you can't afford to lose him now, or re-aggravate anything. So it was a no-win situation for Boone and Severino at that point in the game. So the bigger question that we pointed out was it was the reliever that they went to when they pulled him. That was our biggest issue of the whole thing. Well, Boone at times managed okay, and sometimes he's questionable. That's a lot of managers are like that, but Boone,
especially him, though. He is right. Angel's spot on. It's kind of him right now, but yeah, I mean, listen, I still have an issue with the fact that Severino was determined to come back out there, and I would have at least given him one or two batters. If it was a long, he was on 94 pitches after 7. You could have gone up to 100 and seen where he was. Give him 6 pitches, see if he's managed to quickly and efficiently get through the first batter. If he didn't, then take him out. Fair enough, but I think missing out on the no-hitter, certainly the combined no-hitter, that was mostly on Castro. I don't understand putting Castro in there. It made no sense to me.
Yeah, and the other thing that was kind of special about it is he, because of the double play, he was still facing the minimum amount of batters. 21 outs in 7 innings. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
But maybe he builds off of this and he does it. He gives us just about obviously a no hitter is hard, but if he can give us another solid outing like that in the postseason, sign me up. No, Elliot, my biggest concern about Boone is bullpen management is going to the bullpen too early. That is taking out a starter when they can go one or two more innings. Yeah, he gets very. That's not his strength.
Castro sucks, Angel. He's not just Steph, he sucks.
Yep, exactly.
So, yep. That's why it was a very tricky. I think it really, like I said, it was a no-win situation for Boone and for Severino.
Yeah, it was a no-win for Boone. I have to say that is true.
Does he finish it? Does he go out the next batter? And pull his pull a muscle or
yeah. I don't think that there was a way in which Boone can come out looking great in that scenario. If Severino pitched the complete game and had like 120 freaking pitches, then he'd be blown up by the media, even if it was a no-hitter. But then on the other side of the coin, I don't think there was a wrong answer either. I think I completely understand everyone's viewpoint. If you want to take him out after 7, I completely get it. So I'm not going to kill Boone. I would kill Boone on Castro, though. That makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, so to give a few more minutes here, thanks for everybody in the comments. Loving it. The lineup. Is this the same lineup that you roll out for the series? Because I think everybody kind of has their spot.
No, Rizzo didn't play yesterday.
The Mets rule.
That's a very good point.
That's a good point. We know Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo had the day off. Glaber had to come out because he wasn't feeling well. So maybe that's not the best way to put it. But do you keep? All right. This is really the premise of what I was asking. Do you keep Judge in the leadoff spot?
It's been working, so you might as well. You don't want to mess with anything. If Benintendi was healthy, then you probably would never see Judge leading off. But right now, you don't know if you're getting him back. So I think you roll with Judge in the leadoff spot, and you either put Rizzo between him and Stanton, or you keep Stanton too. You got to put your best guys in the top of the order and hope that whoever's 7, 8, 9 with Bader, IKF, and Trevino can get something done at the bottom of the order. The top of your order is going to do just fine.
Yeah, I think do you continue to do this in the postseason too? Do you just leave him in the leadoff spot till the end of the season?
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to.
That was a question that was being tossed around, on the sports talk last night. If Benintendi's healthy or and ready to go with LeMahieu, if he starts to heat up, does LeMahieu automatically get the leadoff spot back, and you kind of put everything back the way it was before the injuries? And it kind of if it's not broke, don't fix it type of mentality. I think.
I'll put it this way: teams are not going to be afraid to pitch to DJ LeMahieu to start a ball game. They will be afraid to pitch to Aaron Judge to start a ball game.
I agree.
Yeah, Eddie's on fire here. How do you justify batting Donaldson cleanup? There's no justification for that. Completely. No. I think what we need to do is give this issue the time that it deserves. I don't think throwing it in with a few minutes to go in our pod really does justice, because it's very complex. There's a lot of different things to look at in terms of where's the best way of utilizing your guys and lengthening your lineup. For sure, for me, Cabrera needs to be in the lineup. He needs to be there. It should be Cabrera, left field, Bader center, Judge right. For me, I don't even think there's any question about it. Peraza needs to be our shortstop, and I think that's a good way of leading into how I think we should discuss that more tomorrow. Once again, Peraza gave you two hits right there. He's batting .330, and his OPS 333, and his OPS is in the 890s. That dude is balling out, yet the Yankees don't give him any opportunities. So I think this is something that we need to discuss properly. But you definitely go with let's see, what have you got there backstage baseball? You've got DJ, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Carpenter, Torres. Well, we don't know about Carpenter yet. We for sure Torres. I think Torres has done really well in the 3-hole. I think I think Rob's probably right that you don't want to mess with what's working. So if you want to have Judge 1, Rizzo 2, maybe Torres 3, Stanton 4, I think that makes sense. DJ LeMahieu 5. I think DJ can play the 5 hole pretty comfortably. Cabrera is awesome, needs to play every game. Yes, he is awesome. I'm surprised he didn't play yesterday. So I would definitely make him our left fielder, and I want Aaron Hicks so far away from this team. I don't even want him to be the bat boy. I want him to be the PA for Aaron Boone. He can just carry the coffee. He can carry Tyone's coffee in the mornings.
Yeah,
that's the goal for me.
I know there's only 3 games left, but I think he had last night off. I think he's going to play Cabrera at both games today. So I think they let him get a night off his feet. That's my opinion. Brew, I'd keep Judge in the leadoff spot and put some pressure on keep the pressure on the opposing thought. Because if you're able, like Rob said, you're not threatened by LeMahieu in the first spot. With Judge, that first pitch of the game, if you just try to get one over to get the game going, Judge is going to take you deep. So, it's a tough spot for any starting pitcher to have, especially if you have, if they do it like what they did with, having Judge and Stanton. If that's your 1-2, you could be off to the right start of a game very quick.
Statistically, if you walk the leadoff batter, that leadoff batter is going to score a lot of the time. I think if you look at the percentage wise. So if they wanted to pitch around an Aaron Judge, they're like, I'm scared to pitch to Aaron Judge, right? You put Aaron Judge at first base, right to lead off the game, then the statistics are in favor that Aaron Judge is going to find a way of scoring, especially when you've got Rizzo and then Torres and Stanton following him. So, yeah, that's why I'm going to go with that. I think that's probably the way to go. Give Judge more at-bats. But obviously the old school fan in me is like, why are you putting your best hitter lead off? But I can see it. I can see it in this instance.
Did you see Chappie deleted his Instagram? No, I did not. I don't really.
Who cares about Chappie?
He's just, oof. Yeah, that's a bad look, especially if the season's not even over yet. Like
Chappie's obviously been getting lit up by Yankee fans. Good.
I mean,
I hope they find him on his TikTok and his Snapchat and whatever other apps he's using. Absolutely destroy that guy, idiot. Joke of a baseball player.
That is going to wrap things up for us today. Remember to tune back in tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. We will be back live with you. You have been watching the Pitch Strike Chronicles on YouTube, on Northeast Streaming Sports, listening on SportsWire. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Thanks so much for the comments, people. See you tomorrow.